So now I believe your soulmate energy belongs to your Venus element energy. So this one I'm going to explain. I have a Venus in Pisces. So I feel that my soulmate is best probably a water sign. Not saying all water signs. I've realized that for me, Scorpios are still part of my South Node, which is, I'm a Taurus North Node. So foundation, home, all that. When it comes to soulmates, I have a connection to Scorpios, but it's always a darker connection. So I tend to stay away from Scorpios when it comes to the soulmate journey. There's nothing wrong with Scorpios, nothing bad. They just have a lot more inner work to do that I'm willing to work through with them, and you have to be honest about that. Cancers, they're a lot more emotional, but I can work with them. Pisces, they're a lot more in their head. I can work with them, but they're not my favorite. And I'm not saying it in a mean way. I just mean they hold a lot in, they don't share a lot, and it takes a lot to get them to confess. And so with cancers, they'll tell you how they feel when they're feeling it. Pisces, they'll hold it in and pretend nothing's ever happened. So I've learned that for me, a soulmate I require, because as an air sign, I have not much water in my chart besides the Venus and the Mars. And so I have a lot more air and a lot more earth. And so I require that balance. That's why when we say soulmate, it's going to be a connection. It's an instant connection, but it's not easy. It's about finding balance, right? It's going to seem like you're an odd couple. This is why we say when you meet people, they say the Beauty and the Beast type deal, or the odd couples make the best, because the outside might not make sense, which is usually the twin flame. Twin flames want it to make sense on the outside. We want the bodies to match, the looks to match, all that's fine. That's a lusty connection. The soulmate is more about, why does this person fit me? It's because they're a whole person, and you're a whole person, who's now coming together to make equal parts of something new. And then you both are learning how to be with each other without destructing each other's existence or identity, right? Soulmates understand you're another human, so you have human emotions and human experience, and I have to be gentle with that, because the soul understands that there's more to this life than just trying to make itself feel better, right? It's about a universal connection. It's a collective consciousness of sorts. So for me, I've learned that I have, like, let's say my moon sign is a Taurus. I need water, right? I need a water sign to water me, to make me feel safe. I need that energy somewhere in their chart to make me feel like they can see me, right? I've met a lot of soulmates throughout my journey. Again, soulmates aren't forever either, but they take more work, I feel. Not in a heavy way, just in a consistency way, right? Twin flames rush in, gimme, 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 attention, attention, attention. You get it, they feed it to you, it feels hot, and then all of a sudden they disappear, take it away, and now you're a fiend for it. I need more. Why can't I find a connection like this? Why can't it be like this? I used to say that when I was younger. I've had it before, yes. I've had a lot of sparky connections, but I never had the slow burn connection. The soulmate is the slow burn that everyone keeps talking about, where you don't see it right away, but it doesn't mean it's not there. You're not settling either. It just means you grow up and you start finding other things attractive other than body parts. And you grow up and start finding other things attractive other than material things. And you understand there's nothing wrong with that, but it can't be all of your connection if you want more. And so you have to start seeing that person for who they are, how that person articulates themselves, how they use their emotions and thoughts. That's what becomes more attractive about the soulmate connection. Their consistency on how they see you and show up for you. And you start learning how to build your energy towards catering to that more, right? I've learned with this connection, it's the one where I have to not overly invest, but invest in myself, so that that person sees that, okay, this is a good partner to balance with. If it was a twin flame connection, they don't care about that. They're only focused on themselves. And I don't know what anybody else believes, but every twin flame connection I've had, which is that instant hedonistic, you're only attracted to the body, it feels familiar, but it's not. It's just your fantasy coming to life, and you chase it until the death. And some people get lucky and they get to have that fantasy, and they will contest that it's not an easy relationship. There's still a lot of jealousy involved, and ownership and all this stuff. I'm not saying that doesn't happen in a soulmate connection, but it doesn't happen right away in the beginning as it would in a karmic or in a twin flame, which I'll get to later. Again, twin flames aren't bad. They're fun. They just won't last. That's just my opinion. Soulmates, they will last a little bit longer, but it takes a little bit more work, and it has to take insight to who you are and what you want. You have to actually talk to your soul and know what your soul wants. So for me, I had to learn, as a moon sign, my soul sign, Taurus, needs home, foundation, stability, romance, a connection, a partnership, right? Even though I was taught to fight this through my South Node past life, which is what we feel are our darty thoughts, right? Our sultry thoughts. In the bedroom, I act like a Scorpio, for sure, but that's not my personality. In life, in any time I'm out in the world, which is more, it's a little more hedonistic. There are signs who are a little more hedonistic, and it's not bad. It's just saying that they're the younger sign of the other elements. And so you just have to learn the astrology, and you'll know what I mean. It's not saying that the person themselves are immature. It's just saying the sign is immature. The human can be immature if it takes on all of the sign's attributes, but the human can make that sign mature. And this is where we say doing the work, doing the trauma work and all that. You can be a healed Scorpio, you can be a healed water sign, air sign, all of them, just like you can be unhealed, which is in your juvenile phase. So if you're dating in your juvenile energy, you're going to have the juvenile connections. You're going to call in the most energetic pairing that matches that vibration. So knowing that you need something for your soul allows you to call in that soulmate. If you're healed, you'll call in a balanced soulmate. If you're unhealed, you're going to call in an unbalanced soulmate who when you come together, you'll balance each other momentarily. But once you guys find your balance in self, you'll either start feeling like the relationship's boring or it's not meant for you anymore, and you'll start feeling like you should move on. That's up to you. You shouldn't have to move on in that moment. You should realize, like, oh, I was able to grow here. Let's see how much more I can grow with them now that I'm healed. And then you guys can grow something bigger and greater. When you see people saying, like, we've been together this many years and it wasn't easy, but we made it work because we understood that everything doesn't mean it doesn't work just because you have disagreements, right? Just because you have a different vision for life and a different timeline doesn't mean it's not going to work. It just means that you both have different places in life where you want to be, and you have to decide if you want to do it physically together or not. That's all that means. But some people feel they have to break up, and that's a choice. And that's where I say the maturity has to come in, and you have to know what you need and deserve. So soulmate is for the grown folks, right? That's all where I'm at. Twin flame, it's hot, it's cool, it's cute, but in my opinion, doesn't last. It's connected to your rising signs, South Node or sister sign, and that's kind of how I was able to figure out that energy. I'm not saying it's always going to be that star sign or sun sign's connection, but I am saying that that energy that star sign represents will be your twin flame energy. So for me, as an Aquarius, sister sign was a Leo. Anybody who had a Leo type personality, Leos themselves, but anybody who had a Leo type personality tend to be my twin flame energy. And again, love the connection as friendships, romantically never works. Soulmate wise, I always tend to fall for the water signs because they fill me up emotionally the way I desire. And because of that, I allow myself to be more open to it. Now, as an air sign, I fight them a lot because that was my trauma. I feel like they're too into their emotions. Even though I'm an emotional intelligence coach, I had to learn this stuff. Remember, I had to teach myself this because I'm very logical to the point where I was not paying attention to others' emotions. So this was where the soulmate connection kicked in. Now, what happens is people forget and they get lost in their own emotions. And then they start dating other people, what we call karmics. Karmics represent all of our unhealed energy from soulmate and twin flame paths. So this will be the last video. So I'm going to make that one next. So I hope this will make sense. If it did, it's okay. If it didn't, that's okay. But love you anyways.